Hey, good Friday morning, Larry. Sprinkling along with Chris Mulcahy, and it's one of those days.
We're back again.
And back again. I tell you, when you think of, I can't remember the last week we had two weather days in 1 week. It's been some time ago, maybe during one of the hurricanes we did.
Yeah.
It's been some time ago.
We haven't really had it. 2023 really wasn't all that bad in general. So we're starting off 2024 with a bang, literally.
Yeah, this morning's okay. Dry,
Yeah.
cold this morning. Midday, around lunchtime should be okay. It's interesting. It's the opposite of what we saw earlier in the week. This is more of an afternoon and evening event.
And we want to make it clear. This is not like Tuesday. A lot of people, I think, are more weather aware on their own without us telling them, just because you have these maps again. But we are not looking at hours of or a half day of rain that we saw before. We're not looking at the widespread winds we saw. It's a little bit more isolated, but still a storm threat. So it's taking it seriously.
Always there. We have to do that because considering what did happen on Tuesday with a terrible situation up in Catawba County. So we got 9 a.m. is okay. Around lunchtime, early afternoon is okay. It really is that time between about 4 p.m. and 8 p.m., so it's just several hours where we see this potential for some strong storms.
The wide window is 3 to 9, but realistically, if you're narrowing it down, I think it's really that 5 to 8 for Charlotte. And
it's when people are on the way home. That's it.
Which
That's
is not
the unfortunate
good.
thing. No, it's not good at all. But at least we got several hours this morning through the middle part of the day. So here it is. We go from 7 all the way to 11. It's interesting because the temperatures are really mild. 8 p.m., 60 degrees at that time. Yeah, enough little instability going on in there.
That's the main reason why.
That could be an issue.
Yeah, it's going to be the warm front, and that's why we're really going to hit our high temperature of the day, not at the time you typically do. So you notice how things start to come down after that. So that's going to be that, as Larry mentioned, the peak instability, especially down to the southeast.
Yeah, that's the year that we're talking about. In addition, we do have this high wind watch that it's in effect all the way through tomorrow morning. As that front comes through, it's going to get those winds up there again. Breezy conditions, so that's another issue that we're going to talk about. Here's the radar.
Wow.
Most of the active weather is across the Mid-South into the Ohio Valley. That's where the big storms have been across Arkansas. They've had a lot of tornado warnings there, all the way down into Mississippi, from Little Rock all the way to Jackson. So that eventually gets here, but it's not really until late afternoon and evening that we see all that.
Well, and what's crazy is look at the time right now. So we're in the 7 o'clock hour, and we're talking about this arriving 12 hours from now, and it's along the Mississippi River. So that's showing how fast it's going to be. That helps us. That's why this isn't as much a rain event as what we saw before. It's more of a severe weather event.
And it's really late afternoon and evening that we see those winds. It could gust well over 40 miles an hour. When you get a severe thunderstorm, and those winds could be anywhere from 60 to 100 miles an hour. A lot of people don't understand that severe thunderstorms can be devastating.
Wind is wind is wind. One of the biggest stories that will back that up is I started my career in Sioux City, Iowa, and we had a severe thunderstorm warning, and I was almost confused when it popped up. It was saying wind gusts up to 95 miles per hour. I went the next day covering the story on it. Literally, it blew boats out of the water where there were boats in the trees. So, and that can happen, downburst, microburst. So, as Larry mentioned, wind is wind, regardless if you're talking about straight line or if they're twisting like a tornado.
Yeah, tornado chances within 25 miles. Notice this, Charlotte is not in this. We're kind of in the low-end category. So if you're from, say, Lancaster over towards Monroe, Wadesboro, Rockingham, and those areas all the way to the Carolina coastline, stronger threat. But on Tuesday, in that yellow area, the low end was Catawba County.
Yeah, and just a sliver of it. And that's why this line that you see under tornado chances within 25 miles of any point. So that includes Taylorsville, Morganton. You're technically just 25 miles away from that line. I'm not guaranteeing for that area, but we've learned a valuable lesson here that when there's a twist to the atmosphere, when there's a chance for tornadoes, this isn't just focused on a orange or a red color. It's all of us, because like a hurricane, it only takes just one to really make an impact like what we saw around Claremont.
You take a look at the evening.
Wow.
These are the tornado parameters, and when we say east and southeast, we ramp those up quite a bit. Even though the numbers look low, that's a high number for a tornado probability.
Any number.
Yeah.
Any number on this graphic.
When you see a number, and it does include, I would say, south and southeast of Charlotte, then all the way to the Carolina coastline. Notice over towards Fayetteville, over towards the Sandhills. That's later this evening. So I think some of the most severe weather, at least the tornado potential, is well to the east of Interstate 77, all the way to the Carolina coastline. So here's that 7-day forecast. The red box there, that indicates our weather aware day tomorrow and Sunday. Okay, those are typical temperatures. A little interesting next week. Tuesday. Here we go. We did not in Charlotte see one flake of snow last year. Maybe a flake or two Tuesday morning.
And Larry is literally giving probably the maximum probability for Charlotte. Literally, it might be 1 or 2 flakes or maybe a brief rain-snow mix. This is not a snow event for Charlotte, because I know people will take and run with that. But I think what's really interesting, Larry, is Tuesday we had an event. Friday, have another one. Then Monday night to Tuesday. And then outside of the 7-day forecast, it's the following Friday. So we're stuck in a pattern that every pretty much 3 to 4 days, a low-pressure system's rolling through. And as you've seen, they're going to have different faces, where this one's more of a isolated severe event. Tuesday was an anomaly, widespread across the area. And I want to really compare the two, because that's where we're hearing a lot of chatter, people worrying that we're going to see the exact same scenario. Well, for one, when we were doing this last Tuesday, it was actively raining. Some areas had already seen up to a ½ inch. That's the big deal, because damage is going to be isolated, not widespread. And the reason why is we're not looking at hours of rain, hours of those winds getting up to around 50 miles per hour. So the duration, far less. We're ranging that 3 to 9. Realistically, you might only see rain for less than 4 hours for many locations, and even less than 2 in a few locations. And the rainfall, not 2 to 4. Instead, it will be less than 1. A lot of the rain values that you were showing, Larry, was going to be about a 1/4 to a ½ inch of rain. But I do want to actually, I said I wasn't going to do another graphic. I just want to show the timing one more time for people. Here is 5 p.m. So at this point, I think you are going to be seeing more scattered storms. One thing that's interesting here is this line kind of looks measly compared to the one that we saw on Tuesday, but you got to focus in on the areas of yellow. I think that this could be some individual storms along the line. Those could rotate. Those are the ones that could be spawning the tornado warning.
What we don't see, and this is a similar line, we don't see the kinks in the line. We don't see the intensity that we saw on Tuesday with that weather system.
So this is good news, and that's the reason why this graphic doesn't have the red on it anymore, and this graphic is trended a little bit further to the east where Larry was showing that. So again, it's really after 3 that you have a chance for rain. Some of these could be thunderstorms, some gusty winds. Really, we hit our maximum winds really anywhere between about that 3 to 9 to 10 o'clock. But the good news is, Larry, once you get to about 8, 9, it's well clear of the Charlotte area, and then we're crying out for
I don't think we're going to see the widespread power outages that we saw. We're certainly not going to see the flooding conditions that we saw. Not to say that when you get one of these storms to come through, you can have a lot of heavy rain, a lot of cloud around, lightning in those individual severe thunderstorms. It could happen particularly from about, say, 5 until 8 o'clock this evening.
So better than Tuesday, but still not great.
Much, much better. And, yes, the weekend is looking okay. We showed you it'll be in the low 50s Saturday and Sunday. That's it. We'll be back here Monday.
Do it
same
all over
time,
again.
same place. See you. Have a great weekend.